Really need to step up our game for 2020.
We said that in 2014,
Yeah.
15, 16, 17, 18, now 19.
I'm in charge of this again. We've got to step it up because I'm getting annoyed.
Yeah. Audio. There we go. And on YouTube. That was almost
There
in.
you go.
Yeah. Sorted. Right. Good evening, everybody. I'm TheSuffolkRam.
Skazz.
Welcome to episode 115 of the Ryan Reynolds podcast. Trawling, can you think it's just merely 15 episodes ago we went to North Korea.
I know.
Trawling through them.
What was it we said we were going to do for 150?
Go to Chernobyl.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. So I've ordered the radiation suits
Good job.
and the gas masks and the dosimeters. And I've got a guide counter app on my phone, which I'm sure works.
Of course.
Because
An app for everything.
Yeah, because all our Apple phones come with guide counter equipment built into them.
No, I'd expect so.
Yeah, so
They do everything else, don't they?
Shall I see if Charlie's radioactive?
Yes, please.
Let's see.
I have always kind of been... I have been worried.
Oh, don't tell me I got it on here. Oh no.
He's got rid of the one piece of safety equipment we really need.
Yeah. Oh no. I've got rid of the guide counter app. Oh no. What are we gonna do? That's it. We've had it.
Yeah, we're dead. Good job, Charlie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've got rid of it. I'm sorry. We're dead.
We'll never know if the dog is radioactive.
We'll find out.
Well, you lot will, because we'll be dead. But
Yeah. Has your hair started falling out recently?
yes.
Have you had any more children recently? So that's reproductive issues.
Thankfully, no more children.
No.
Thankfully. I have enough trouble with the two little bastards.
Have any of your family developed any superpowers? Or become mutants?
No. Ultimate patience, but I don't really know if that's a superpower.
I think it is these days.
Well, common sense, that's definitely a superpower.
Ultimate patience and tolerance is definitely a superpower because people claim to be tolerant aren't, and there aren't that people. Anyway, we're digressing again. But yeah, so 150, we will be in Chernobyl.
Marvellous.
So they'll have cleared it up by then. It's been. I mean, sure, it's fine. It's been 30 odd years. I'm sure they've tied it up by now.
I mean, boss, a little bit of radiation. I mean,
come on. How hard can it be? Yes, the reactor melted down. How hard can it be to fix that? Yeah,
It's
it's
a small
fine.
problem.
Yeah.
Leak. My taps in the bathroom leak. We got them fixed.
Yeah, you
Not a
get
problem. It's the same thing, isn't it? Radiation, water, same
Yeah,
thing.
basically. Yeah, it's both. Well, when it's hot enough, it's both liquid. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm sure a plumber will know how to fix that.
Yeah, they will.
Maybe that's why they got a problem.
They haven't got enough quotes in. That's trouble. They didn't get 2 quotes, and they've got the cowboy plumber in to do it. And he's over there right now, and he doesn't know what he's doing. Barely knows one end from a pipe wrench to the other. Hasn't brought enough PTFE tape with him. No, he's just not boys or gas torch. Whatever things the plumbers have, I don't know. He hasn't jumped on a poke cutter. He hasn't jumped on a mushroom.
No.
He hasn't done that. I mean,
He hasn't gone to save the princess.
no, he hasn't saved the princess. I mean, kidnap her back. Yeah. I mean, she finally managed to get in that abusive relationship. She was saved by
Trying to solve
Bowser.
a domestic dispute.
Yeah, and there we are. So, anyway, moving on. So, thank you for joining us. It's just us two again, no Middermeister. Well, we have got Middermeister in spirit. We still haven't got transferred back from being a rock. I mean, that warlock, he keeps saying, you're going to come back for this. And it's like, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
He's the other side of Lowestoft.
And you have to understand it is a tad more hassle because we have to set up another microphone and another stand. And I mean, Mittelmeister hasn't caused any trouble. I mean, he's even... look, you don't need another microphone. That's not a problem, mate.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Middermeister? I like Spider-Man. There you go. It's
Good
fine.
job.
It's fine.
Hey, we know.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, certainly. It's fine. So Middermeister, you can go up there again.
Back
Charlie was looking after Middermeister, but he fell off.
Middermeister.
Middermeister fell off Charlie, or Charlie kicked him off, one or the other.
It's
hard to tell. Evening, Annie. Right, so here we are. We're broadcasting. Indeed, I don't know what I'm doing. I've lost track completely my train of thought.
God's sake.
Here we are.
We've been doing this for how long? We still don't know. Well, in fact, I still don't know what time we start.
No, every week. Come on. What time are we broadcasting?
Every week. You're coming around every week.
Yeah, you forget the other half. What time broadcasting? 9:30. We do it every single time, 9:30. We have been doing 9:30 for the last 5 years. Oh, yeah, I never remember that.
No, I don't remember that.
No.
I really don't.
Yeah.
One day I'll actually put that into it's important information.
Yeah. And it's the confused look you give me every time. Like, what are we broadcasting? A really concerned but confused look. It's like,
I'm sure there's something we're supposed to be doing right now.
Do I think it's every time I knock on the door and they open the door and you say hello, you're saying, who is this person?
Who is this man?
Why is he here?
Who is this strange man standing at my door with a bag of equipment, talking about a podcast? What's a podcast? Is that like the radio?
Yes, well, it is actually. Probably
like
day what?
It's like the radio, but recorded.
Yes, it is. Like most radio.
No. I'm thinking live radio.
Oh, live radio, yeah. Can't be a live radio. Unless you listen on a Sunday and it's pre-recorded. Most of it.
Lazy bastards.
Yeah. Sound of the 60s. I used to go into work on a Saturday morning. It was hilarious. This old boy on there, I can't remember his name. I used to go on about sounds like the music, and he used to give you a little pop history about why the song and what it did. But he'd always
And what it did, it was a song.
Yeah, but he'd always give you like history of like who covered it and so forth.
Sure.
But at the end of it, there'd always be at least a little dig at modern things, like they never quite captured the same spirit of it as the original artist did. There's always some little dig there about the quality about it. It's like,
I don't remember auto-tune being in the original.
No, yeah, it's always some little, it was something like that. It was really weird, but yeah, it was quite a thing.
Pod dog.
Pod dog.
Hello, Ram.
Hello. You want to say hello to Middlemeister, Pod dog?
Yes, please.
Hello, Middlemeister.
Hello, Ram.
Hello, dog. Why are you here?
Is it because I don't really know. Just going to come over and say hello.
I'm a dog.
For the audio viewers, there's a dog.
Pod dog.
Yeah, right over the microphone, Charlie.
Charlie, what's that? What's this?
I don't want that. I can't eat it.
What's this? He's not trained you for mic presence yet.
Nah.
How long have you lived
I'm working on it.
And you've not got mic presence trained in this dog?
He said, I'm sorry. I'm nervous.
He's scared of the broadcast. Gonna speak? Can you speak? This ain't gonna work, is it?
No.
No. Okay. Charles?
Is that you?
So Charles looks away. What, yeah?
What's up, mate?
It's you. You spoke to me. Yeah, typical gun dog. Just don't really know the world exists around him.
Well, I'm waiting for you to shoot something so I can go get it.
Yeah.
You guys never shoot me. I'm always here and you never do it. For God's sake. I'm gonna
my time has not come yet.
I'm still waiting.
Still, one day I'll shoot something.
I've been here for a couple of years and they still haven't shot anything. What's the point in having a gun dog if
You're
you're not going to shoot anything? Fucking hell, mate. I've got one job. Get the shot thing.
Retrieve the shot thing. What you do, Charles, you need to go on an American podcast and I'm sure you shoot everything every other day.
They probably shoot you, mate.
Yeah. No, he's a gun dog. You can't shoot. You don't shoot a gun with a gun. It's like rock, paper, scissors. Rock can't beat rock.
Wow. You could try.
You could try, it wouldn't work.
Wow. Depends how dedicated to the cause you are.
Yeah. No, guns are immune to guns. It's like lightsabers. Lightsabers can't cut another lightsaber, despite the fact they can cut for anything else. Likewise, guns are immune to guns.
And I have to ask, how do lightsabers know to stop? Like, yay hard.
Don't think about it too much. Well, I think...
Do you think the batteries just haven't got the grunt to get it to go longer? Why isn't it...
That's not how light works.
No, but because it's supposed to go on...
Isn't it meant to be I'm about to go dirty. I think it's meant to be like a plasma suspended in a magnetic field. I think that's what they're actually meant to be. They're not actually meant to be... Because if you notice, it's not actually a saber.
Well, yeah, but...
It doesn't actually follow the design of a saber. So it's not. So it's actually it's inaccurate. One, it's neither made of light, and B, it's not a saber. So it's factually heavily inaccurate.
So who came
Trade
up?
description.
Oh wait, it was George Lucas, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's
That
more like
explains
it's
a
more
few
like
things, doesn't
it should be called a plasma stick.
Plasma stick. I like it.
Shumph, here's my plasma stick.
Well, that I would take. I wouldn't be asking any more of them questions about how does it stop. Yay, hi, it's a plasma stick. There you go. Everything is there.
Yeah, plasma
Sorted.
stick. We've solved Star Wars.
Watch it. Someone to beat you with my plasma stick.
Yeah, that was in Futurama, wasn't it? They get the little light chucks.
Oh yeah,
they spank people with them. The light sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the future's going to be great. It won't be orange.
No. Lucas, this is trademark plasma stick. Yeah, it won't be long.
Shit. George, why do you like Jar Jar Binks? I know you're listening now.
George doesn't need to worry. He just has all the money. He has all the money in the world.
Okay. Yep. Just pretend I didn't ask you any questions. Okay.
You know, he literally wakes up every morning. It's like, on his bed of money, and he gets out in his house made of money, and he walks
wearing his clothes made of money.
Goes to the bathroom, sits on the toilet made of money, including all the plumbing.
Yeah. Look, even the water at the bottom, it's not really water. It's just like
he poos a block of money, and then he eats more money for breakfast.
Well,
then he gets his car made of money, and
it's
drives.
fueled by money.
Yes, fueled by money, compressed money, and drives around his ranch made of money. All the cows are made of money, or the sheep, or the goats.
The
are
land is made of money.
The land is literally made of money.
So if you were to pull a bit of a Minecraft, his is made of that specific block called money.
Money, yeah,
and it goes down so deep.
yeah. If you manage to dig through beneath it, you'd fall out of the world.
It's dangerous, George.
Yeah, but he doesn't care. He doesn't have to do it himself. He gets his people who do that for him.
The mouse.
Because he has all the money. Yeah, the mouse. That's what Jar Jar does.
That's why he was made, was it?
Yeah.
Jar Jar is the handler.
Yes, the handler. That was a good TV series called The Handler. That was a really good TV series. It lasted, but it just like went kaput.
I'm sure I've heard of it before, but I don't remember anything about it.
I've been watching it on Sky. It was about basically about a guy. I'm going to badly misremember this because it's ages ago since I watched it, and he is the sort of like the special forces, not special force, but sort of Secret Service spy people. The guy who basically handles all his spies, and he's basically how he go. And it's rather than following the spy, you're following the handler. Hence why it's called The Handler. I think he made it a season, but it was quite good.
Better having a kick in the face.
I
Most shows
enjoyed
don't even get a season.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. Rip Firefly.
Poor Firefly.
Poor Firefly.
You'll never get it back. It's done.
Well, they did. They made a film.
Yeah, they made a film. Though in the grand scheme, though, I think a lot of people actually got into Firefly because of the film Serenity.
Yeah. Well, I think because it was famous that the fans got the film made. They campaigned have got the film made.
What I mean is that brought in a whole new audience for the show.
People watched it and thought, what was this about? And then they went back and saw the show. Because it is actually pretty much a direct continuation of the show. There isn't a lot. You need to have seen the show first to get the film, to be fair. But, yeah, poor old Firefly. Imagine if Minecraft actually did pre-count around an entire planet. Minecraft cheats. Is the true answer. It's technically infinity, but it doesn't. Yeah. Well, actually, interesting because I've been learning about this. The way Minecraft works, the algorithm it uses to generate the world, is not a random algorithm. It's a fixed algorithm. So if you give it the same data again and again and again, it'll always generate the same stuff out of it.
Yeah, because you can give it a seed.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fixed algorithm. So the world is technically pre-calculated because it's always there. The algorithm will, if you give it this position, it will give you the correct same result no matter what. Just actually drawing it is another matter. But Minecraft cheats. The world, it's like right now, the world outside my room doesn't exist. Skazz is not being rendered right now.
Nope.
He's not. He just doesn't. He's not there.
Got to save them resources every way you can.
And now I've just turned. He just what for
Popped
my
in, there was a bit of pop.
there
in
was
there.
yeah there was. He said, "Well, in a minute, I'm hoping the rest of the textures are going to load because you look a bit of a mess at the moment. Hopefully the rest is
That's normal, mate. If I'm looking a bit hairy and low res, that's normal.
exactly. I mean, at the moment you've got the placeholder ginger texture on this one over here. When you get something a little more detailed on it,
Oh, that poor wee dog. He's like, that's not a placeholder, that's my fur, mate. When are you going to fucking shoot something?
I'll dig my way to my mates on the other side because that's the shortest and fastest entry. 40 minutes.
I'll upgrade the dog's texture pack.
Yeah.
He'll probably upgrade his own
Do you
texture pack
do you have to buy the HD texture pack?
when we shoot something.
Yeah.
We unlock it when we shoot something.
Yeah. It's like we download a new skin for him, do we? Yeah.
He doesn't require the high detail pack yet because he's not really doing anything. He's just idling until we shoot something.
Yeah. Indeed. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. The animation. I mean, that's what the animations are so basic.
Mm-hmm. You know, sleep or stare at you.
Yeah. Really strange. Do you? That makes me think now of that episode of Rick and Morty where they just that what's it? I can't remember what the husband's called. John, James. Anyway, and he's in a simulation. They steal him and they actually put him in a simulation of Earth, but they just drop all the resources down because he wants to sort of like try and trick Rick.
Oh,
and
sure.
He doesn't notice. They just go around. All the people just saying the same lines again and again and again. It's all glitching out and all sorts, and he doesn't notice.
I wouldn't even.
He ends up getting promotion and living a happy life.
There you go.
Anyway, games we've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
I started last time, so you can start this time.
Oh, bollocks. But I always start.
I start first. Oh, I'll start first this time. There you go. I've been playing Fibrillation HD.
So you have a childish tantrum at work.
Yeah. I want to play again. I want to go first. Well, you're making a podcast. I hate podcasts. I want to just go home and play with a toy.
Cool. There we go. Do the Muppet walk. Go on, so what have you been playing in, son?
Fibrillation HD.
Yep. What is it?
It's I didn't know what to expect really. It's a little indie game. Long story short, I've been busy this week. Last 2 weeks, I have. I've been building a log cabin the last couple of weeks, and I've been ordering stuff on Games. So, long story short, I haven't played anything. And I thought this afternoon I better play something.
Have you been playing Building Log Cabin?
It is.
The IRL simulator.
It is. It's
How are
very
the graphics?
good. Very good. Texture's amazing.
Marvellous.
Texture's amazing. Yeah.
You managed to cut yourself on how sharp them pixels are.
Indeed. I have cut myself actually today.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, and I've great because I feel very manly because I've been using a circular saw, an impact driver, and do you know what I bought on? I bought on Monday. I bought myself an electric miter saw.
Oh God,
That's been awesome. Yeah.
what brand miter did you get?
A Zito,
All right.
cheap, £65, but it's good enough. It'll cut CLS. That's all it needs to do. Because I've got to build my sister a seesaw for the dogs.
All right. Okay.
So because they do agility and the dogs run over the seesaw.
I'll get a table saw at some point.
Yeah, I've got friends of mine's got a table saw. Quite useful. It's just make sure you always use the little tool. Otherwise,
I've seen someone actually. They were talking about like kickback on a table saw. I'd never seen it before.
it's quite rare. I think it's if it hits something like a stone or not a stone, like a nail or something.
Well, so the idea being that if you push the wood in and it bites into the side of the blade, so if it doesn't go in straight and against the guard, so if you're not pushing it into the guard as you're cutting it, so it comes back and it snaps onto the blade, and obviously the blade then flings it back.
Yeah.
But I've never seen that happen before, and a guy's like, well, this is what happens, and he tries to do it as safely as he can. He's like, oh, I'll be fine. And it turns out when you play back what happened in really like super slow motion, he was literally probably about yay far away, like maybe a couple millimeters away from losing his fingers.
Yeah.
And he knew it was going to happen because the speed of the blade literally pulled his hands into the... That was terrifying.
Yeah. I would have personally used the tool to do it just to demonstrate it, rather than using my actual hands.
Well, no, he was using a tool, but it pulled his hand in.
Yeah.
Because even if you're holding the guide as you moved it in, because it snapped back so hard, it pulled him into the.
And that's why you don't do it. Yeah, kickback's worse on chainsaws.
Sounds a bit.
If you're not careful on a chainsaw, if you're cutting through a log and it hits something, it can potentially jump straight back at you.
I ain't using a chainsaw.
No, I have a certain degree of self-preservation that makes me not go near chainsaws. Oh, but I was very manly. I cut a tree branch down the other day.
Oh, huh?
Yeah. Do you know? I didn't know. I finally learned the correct method of cutting a tree branch. You have to cut. You do three cuts.
Mm.
You cut from the underneath first, just over a third of the way in, and then you cut from the top down behind that. And so when the branch so when the branch goes, it splits because you already cut from underneath. It stops it from splitting all the way down the trunk and just falls down. And then you can just trim it off at the end to make it nice and neat.
And there you go.
And now you know. I never knew that, and now I do. And I've been cutting tree branches.
And now you know.
Up there with Bosaw, feeling very manly, very, very manly. Jet says he's used a chainsaw a few times. Who are you murdering?
Yeah, it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. When I was like, what? Fucking hell, he's using it at 10:13. He started his serial killer career early.
Wow. In fairness, he is from a fictional place in the world.
Where from?
He's apparently, just like America, Welsh.
He's Welsh.
Welsh.
Ooh, Welsh.
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 With their funny language.
The language where you need to have a lot of phlegm.
Yeah.
Some clag, clug, clag, clig, clug.
And you just
sorry,
called him a cunt just
I know. I'm sorry. I've just insulted him. Sorry. Insulted his race.
Don't. Right, your game, please, because I can feel a rant bubbling over.
Anyway, yeah, for HHD, I wasn't expecting a lot from it because it's like I said, I just looked up on how long to beat. What game can I play in 2 hours? Oh, that'll do.
That'll do.
That'll do. So I picked it up. I had it installed. And I had no idea what I was going into. It's a little indie game. It's made in the personal version of Unity. So it's like some sort of little chappy independent guy. Thought, let's see what he can do. Auto mod's kicked in. Apparently there's no word for cunt in Welsh.
Yeah. We will allow that.
I will allow that. Fortunately, there's no word for cunt in Welsh. Excellent. Anyway,
the more you know.
The more you know. Now you do. So I was going to. I thought, what's it going to be like? So I loaded it up, and you start off, and it's typical indie fare, weird. For some reason, if you make an indie game, it's got to be a bit weird. You can't.
Well, yeah, otherwise it doesn't sell.
It's not an indie game otherwise. And you start off, and you're just in a big desert, and this thing starts building out of stone and so forth, sort of building to some strange obelisk. But if you're moving, it goes at normal speed. If you stop, it slows down, does it in slow-mo. Right. Only does it in the first level. That's it. That's not a mechanic of the game. That's only for the first level.
So they're trying to trick you into thinking that something is, but it isn't.
Yes. So yeah, it builds itself up, and I think, oh, good. And I build it up, and you have a little entrance. You walk in, and you're in a corridor. And you walk through the corridor, and it tells you like, oh, whilst he moves, shift sprints. You walk in, and you pick up a flashlight, and it's got this usual setup of
a torch.
It's got the usual. Yeah, you as you run, your little health bar things. You've only got a health bar goes down, right, as you expect. It's like you're draining your life force to run. Apparently, this is why I don't.
And
run.
when you run, you die.
This is why I don't run anywhere, because I don't want to drain my life force.
Is that why Bolt retired?
Yeah, he drained too much life force. Bolt was actually 6 years old. But
every time he sprints at that speed, he gets.
Yeah, gradually goes old. If he did it too many times, he'd be retired. Or dead. There you go. But it turns out when you pick up a flashlight, it also drains your stamina, your life force. So people have their phones with a flashlight on all the time.
You are going to die soon.
You're losing your life force.
You are aware that electronic devices are powered by you.
Yeah.
The Matrix was real.
Isn't that the Final Fantasy 7 storyline?
Oh, yeah. They're
powered by the dead people, isn't
they're
it?
They're converting the planet's life energy, which is the spirits of dead everything, into electric. Oh, my God.
Well, there you go. Final Fantasy 7 was correct.
It is.
So, put a torch, and I wasn't expecting a lot from this game. I was thinking, what's this all about?
You
then?
liar. You expect them loads.
Yeah, and I start exploring, and the main sort of mechanic of it is there's like these. As you go on the level, you find these little cubes.
Yes.
And the cubes unlock doors. As you approach the door, if the door have recesses in it, and the cubes you walk with the cubes, flies into your inventory, and as you walk the door, it flies out of your inventory, and the door opens up.
That sounds rather dangerous. What if someone walks in front of you as your cubes fly out of your inventory?
You see, there's no one else around apart from you, sort of.
All right.
So I'm walking around.
Try saying that to a child as they run in front of the door and get whacked in the head by
exactly.
a stray cube.
Exactly. So I'm walking around, I go in for this corridor, and I'm into the next section. There's only 18 scenes, and each scene takes a few minutes to go through. And I'm walking in, I open this door, and there's looks like insects in there, thinking, oh, what's going on here? So I walk in there, and also my screen goes red, and my life bar starts going. I was like, oh, bad insects. I'm backing out. So I'm doing that, and I sort of look in the door, and there's this. All of a sudden, this thing has appeared, and it's like made of four, slight Aztec-y looking thing. It's made of 4 blocks. It's got this big gaping maw. Whenever I put my light on it, it sort of like opens its maw up and screams at me. And just when I turn my light off, it goes on. It's quite funny. It's like light goes on, light goes off. Light goes on. Light goes off.
He can't see me.
Light goes on. That kept me entertained for some time, watching it scream every time I put the light on. That kept me going for some time. I then realised it moved while I was turning on. It was moving close to me when the light was off.
Oh.
So I was like, oh shit. I thought, so when I turned my light on, it was screaming at me. I thought, what happens if I walk up to it? Walk up to it, instantly died. I thought, okay, that's bad.
That reminds me of Doom 3.
Yeah. That was bad.
That was a flashlight game. But the trouble was you couldn't shoot and hold the flashlight at the same time. So in a perfectly dark corridor. Oh, look, a zombie as you're walking down the corridor. I'm going to pull out my gun.
Jet has just pointed out, based on our theory, Teslas are mass murderers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. See, you trusted Elon Musk. Bad idea. That's what happens.
Yeah. Tesla coils are powered by children buried underneath them.
Yes, they are. That's scientific fact.
Yep.
Hence why the sockets were evil in Red Alert 2. Well, you know, is whenever you see school, they always have those like little those Van de Graaff generators. It's always a small child touching it, powering it. Adults doesn't work on adults. Adults can't. You never see a picture of an adult with a Van de Graaff. It's always a child demonstrating it.
And there you go.
There you go.
The more you know. This is an educational show.
It is, yeah. So after getting killed like that, I thought, okay, there are monsters in this game. I best be more careful. So I was expecting a walking simulator like all indie games. If it's weird and it's indie, it's going to be a walking simulator. That's my usual conclusion with indie games.
Yeah.
But it's not. So I carry on walking through, and I go for. Eventually, I read the level scene again. Don't go in the bad room this time. Just ignore it. Just walk on by.
Oh, that monster must have felt really bad.
Yeah,
it just walked away from me.
Yeah, it didn't activate it. So you have to get close to it. Activate, sort of like folds itself out of like a box thing, sort of. So
it's very Aztec, very indie.
Yeah. I'm carrying on. I get I find my door. And it opens up again. We insert the cubes. Door opens up. There's a little teleporter. It's like there's temples at the end of the level. It's like this corridor carries on. I'm just going to carry on down. So I start carrying down the corridor, and I go around a couple of corners. And there's a like a glowing sphere thing there. Pick it up and it's like, oh, you've unlocked us. You've collected a key. Oh, good. I wonder what that does. So I carry on down this corridor. I thought, where does this go? And I just see these 2 glints in the distance. I thought, what's that? And as I walk up to it, it's like this bloody mummified zombie Aztec-y priest thing. And it looks at me, screams at me, and starts running towards me. I'm thinking, I'm legging it. So I just start running away. But I've got my flashlight on and I'm running, so I've got a double drain on my life energy. And it's all sort of running away, and it all sort of starts getting quiet. I think, oh, I'm going to outrun it. Turn around, and it's just chasing me still. Like, fuck. I will admit, I got the heebie-jeebies. It was very sort of like amnesia-like. And I just legged it back to the teleporter and just jumped in and went to the next place.
So I don't trust teleporters either, so that's even worse.
Yeah. So each level it's sort of like it feels like it's like sort of Aztec meets industrial. So like sort of like it's got almost like sort of industrial style buildings you're going through, but all the monsters look Aztec-y. And they be fair, the guy's done it before. It's his little one-man band. He's done a fair job of actually sort of making some interesting different monsters. So you've got the one that sort of like won't follow if it's lit up, so it'll chase it and it folds out. You've got the one that screams at you and chases you and just doesn't care, will just chase you whatever. There's this other one, which I found quite late on, which is like this sort of like totem pole type thing with lots of alarms, and that's very fast moving, but it only moves if you're not looking at it.
All right.
But the level it's in is in a building which is like on a suspended floor with lots of holes in the floor, which drop down to bottomless pits. So when you're trying to and you've got to pick up the blocks, so you have to sort of like look at it, but also sort of mentally know which direction you're heading in, so you don't fall off the edge and die. That was quite interesting. It's done little. He's tried to like make every little level slightly different, and sometimes it's also just lots of different ideas he's had, and sometimes it's very basic. Like there's one which is basically just going down a series of corridors and they sort of do weird effects and sort of loop the loops, still things like that. He's trying something different, which I get. That's quite neat. Actually, I like when people try. He's trying something different every time to keep it fresh. There's another monster that's about 6 times the size of you, and it sort of stomps down, eats you. But it was surprisingly good. I was not expecting a lot, and I was actually pleasantly surprised actually how decent it was. And after my I finished it. I finished it about an hour and a half, and I then went back trying to find the few missing bits, some of the scenes, tried to unlock them. I pretty much picked everything up, and I said, in the space of about sort of like probably 2 hours, I picked up pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But you know what? I actually enjoyed it. I looked on Steam before I came out, and it's only priced at $2.69.
That was the next thing I was going to ask. Actually.
Yeah, and actually, I would say it's absolutely fine. No suits this time. No suits. No. We've decided to go back to the Yobbish look.
Yeah.
So
I get very sick when I wear a suit.
It's true. You didn't see how his suits drain his life force.
They do. They make me incredibly evil.
Yeah. Well, let's be fair. The amount of black clothing you got on right now, if you had a black backdrop, you would look like Holly out of Red Dwarf. Yeah.
I've got the same IQ as 6,000 PE teachers.
Yes.
Oh no, was it?
Yeah. Is it 12? Was it 12,000 PE teachers?
I can't remember now.
Yeah. But so yeah, I would recommend it. But yeah, for $2.69, I think it's worth a punch, and it's a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
An expensive cup of coffee, but a cup of coffee. So yeah, good for it. Fibrillation HD.
That sounds rad. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's quite
What
cool.
if it's on anything else?
There is talk of potentially of a Linux port, but I don't think it's been
neat.
done yet. So
Very neat.
yes. Skazz,
Yes.
what have you been playing?
I've been playing a few things, but I'll just go for the one thing that I have beaten. Crackdown on Xbox 360.
Oh, I'm vaguely aware of this. I know. I know. Isn't that like a GTA style?
It's like a third-person sandboxy style deal where you play as a genetically modified police officer. And
is this the one that you like? As you upgrade yourself, you like change, like you get bigger and stuff.
Yes.
I thought I remember this one.
So this is a pretty old, ancient game for the Xbox 360. But the reason I started playing it is so we started playing Xbox a fair bit, and a few of my friends have now gone and bought Xboxes. And Crackdown 3, they made a third one. That surprised me because it never really sold very well. Crackdown, from what I understand. Crackdown 3 is now on the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
So you can now, and plus with Xbox One's backwards compatibility, I did a search. Crackdown 1, 2, and now 3 are available on Xbox One to play. You can play the full series. no need to pull out an Xbox 360 at all now. Now, when I searched for Crackdown 1, because I said, look, I'm not going to play Crackdown 3 with my mates because I haven't played Crackdown 2. I've played Crackdown 1, but I haven't played the second one. You know what? I'll see if I can get them. Searched, they were there, as I say. I'll play through those, and then when I'm done, I'll play 3 with you guys. Right, first off, Crackdown 1, 2, and 3 are currently free on Xbox One. So if you want to play Crackdown 1 right now, it doesn't cost a penny. Well, this didn't cost me anything, and neither did Crackdown.
The cost of an Xbox One.
Well, sure. But I've had an Xbox One for fucking years. So, you know, finally it's time it's actually getting some use.
Yeah.
And that backwards compatibility feature is pretty fucking neat. Just throwing out there. The fact that they support some games all the way far as back as the original Xbox.
I'm guessing that's software emulation they're using.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's good.
But the hardware hasn't changed that much, to be fair.
No. It was a what was it, a Pentium 3 back in the original Xbox. Then, the Xbox 360 was some random Motorola, wasn't it? A PPC chip. I can't remember what it was, but so they're doing some jiggery pokery there, but no, it runs really well.
Does the Xbox One run on a Windows-based operating system, or does it use its own
Windows 10 kernel?
Yeah,
same kernel as Windows 10. But anyway, so all the games they're available for free, which was rad for me. I picked up Crackdown 1. I still own Crackdown 1, the original disc, because the only reason Crackdown 1 originally sold was because it came with, and you might remember this, it came with a Halo 3 multiplayer beta code.
Yes, I do remember that.
The same reason that people bought Zone of the Enders back in the day was because it came
You
with
mean when people bought Metal Gear Solid 2 demo and got Zone of the Enders for free?
That was it, that was it.
So people bought the Halo 2 beta code and got Crackdown for free?
Yeah, that was it. That was it. They bought the beta code, or they bought access to the beta and they got Crackdown with it. And I really enjoyed Crackdown, but I wasn't sure if it was still going to be any good, because I watched some people play Crackdown 3 and I didn't really like the look of it, to be honest. So, Crackdown 1, you play as, I'm not going to go hardcore into the story, but you play as a member of a genetically modified police force. The police are being overrun by terrorists and street gangs and stuff like that. And they end up employing a shamed geneticist who basically ends up modifying a lot of people's DNA. They start dealing with human cloning, and they basically make superhuman police officers. And then it's your job. You are tasked to go to like this kind of last bastion, this big city. 3 big gangs have moved in. It's your job to get them the fuck out. And you can, any means possible. You can beat them up, you can blow them up, you can shoot them, you can throw things at them, all kinds of stuff. The idea is that so the city is split into 4 islands. The middle island is the one where the police are stationed, and there's basically nothing there other than like cars and like a checkpoint and some tunnels that lead to 3 offshoot islands. And then each island is controlled by a different gang. And so you'll have the Mexicans are on the first island, the Russians are on the second island, and the Chinese are on the third. So it sounds very America, trying to save the world from everyone but themselves. It's got a few neat mechanics. Okay, so it's a big open world sandbox. I say open worldish sandbox. The world is full of glyphs, checkpoints, little races, agility trials, and so when you complete these things, like picking up glyphs, completing little races, when you punch out enemies, when you shoot enemies, depending on how you kill the enemy, you will get these glyphs, and that will be what levels up your character. Because as you say, as you level up, you get bigger, you get stronger. If you pick up agility glyphs, once you level up, you can jump higher, run faster, and it eventually gets to the point that your character can Incredible Hulk jump from like one building to another building. You can instead of going into the building and climbing the stairs, you can just literally jump up from the outside of it.
Alright, so you mentioned agility glyphs. So are the glyphs specific to a type of skill? So it's not like you claim and spend whatever you want. You have to.
No, so you'll have agility glyphs. Agility glyphs are the only ones that really appear on the map, because you just climb around buildings and stuff, and you'll just find them and you pick them up and you level up. That levels up your agility, which is your speed and the amount you can jump, and I think the distance that you can fall as well. When you shoot an enemy, you get kind of firearm skill glyphs just come from them. When they die, they kind of pop into glyphs and they fly towards you. When you punch someone, you get strength glyphs. Strength glyphs are directly tied to your health and the amount that you can lift, because eventually you can pick up cars. So you start just being able to pick up regular people. And
so you can control what you have. It's that you have to play how you want to upgrade.
Yes.
Are there any sort of bottlenecks in that where it's like, say for example, strength, it's hard to get going at first because you're so weak and you just have to...
It can be a tad awkward, but at the end of the day, I mean, let's say, for example, you shoot a guy and then you run at him and kick him to finish him off. It'll actually kind of split and give you kind of a percentage based on how much damage you dealt with whatever attack. So if you've done 2/3 of the damage with shooting them, you'll get 2/3 in firearm glyphs, and then like a third in strength glyphs. They don't take a huge amount of time to level up, to be honest. And plus, there's loads of shit you can just punch out and shoot, and enemies just keep on spawning and coming at you. So, there's that kind of stuff. Driving glyphs, there's like stunt rings like in the air, so that you'll occasionally find like a ramp that you can jump up and jump off in a car, and that'll give you kind of a driving bonus to make so you can drive cars faster and they handle better. Explosive kills will give you demolition glyphs to allow you to. So like grenades will be far more potent. They'll have a bigger area of effect, bigger blast radius, do more damage, and I think you will be able to take bigger hits from explosives as well. So there's that. That's how your character kind of grows. You have regenerating health. So you have a shield bar and then a health bar. Obviously, health is directly tied to strength, as I said. So as you level up your strength stat, you'll get more health bars. And then basically the way the game works is that you go to each island. There are strongholds in your area, or like little bases that have been taken over by the gangs. And if you take those back, they're like base of operations. They're just checkpoints where you can reload your guns, change your guns, or you can use them as fast travel points once you unlock them around the map. And then the idea is you just take down... There's a kingpin on each island of each faction. And if you take out the underlings of each kingpin, the overall strength of that gang drops. So... Let's say, for example, you're having trouble getting into one building because every enemy has got like really hardcore firepower. They've all got really powerful guns. They're all rock and body armor. But it turns out that one of the kind of underlings on the island is an arms dealer or an arms smuggler. If you take them out, the supply of firearms to the rest of the gang drops off the planet.
All their guns mysteriously disappear, do they?
Yes, magic. As if they're not as well trained at using the firearm because the firearm expert has fucked off. So once you start killing everyone off, the enemies become weaker. For example, in the first, there's like a recruiter in the first island. There's a chick who's basically training people, getting people to join the gang. If you kill her, there aren't as many people coming to help out the enemy as you're taking over bases, or when you're running around the streets, not as many people will come and attack you. There's another guy who is basically like he's kind of the fitness trainer who's got a fight club going on, and if you fight him and you kill him, then the enemies don't have as much health. They're not as strong because they're not being whipped into shape by this guy. Another guy deals with cars. And you'll find that initially, when the guys are coming after you, you'll find loads of people coming at you in fast cars. But if you take this guy out, then they're not going to have as many heavily armored cars, or they're not going to move as fast. They're going to be easier to take out. Just little things like that. Yeah. You could, if you were strong enough, just run in and take out the main boss. but then you still have to take out the underlings to be able to clear the island, to be able to reclaim it for the public. And then you just basically do that, rinse and repeat 3 times, and bickety bam, job done. Take out the underlings to weaken the kingpin, take out the kingpin. That then leads you to like a final mission to eradicate that gang, reclaim island, job done. And that's it. That is basically Crackdown in a nutshell. There's different cars you can drive. Obviously, you can get stronger. It's better just to play the game running around like the Incredible Hulk. To be honest with you, it's faster and more fun. Just launching from building to building, jumping around, firing bazookas and stuff like that. It's just really cool. And the way the levels are actually designed is to take advantage of that. Rather than say going in through the front door of a building, you could say jump over the roof and say maybe find an open skylight, or come around the back and kick down the door where it's not quite as heavily guarded, and then it's loads of little things you can do to.
It sounds like a really neat little game, actually.
It is really, really fun, and it's got multiplayer co-op.
Yeah, just never seemed to get the love it deserved.
No, which is a shame. I mean, I've now played it through twice, and I thoroughly enjoyed it both times. And online co-op still seems to work, because I had people on Xbox Live trying to join my game.
Really? That's amazing.
Considering how old the game is, and I played this game back in college, the servers are still up, which is absolutely amazing. Oh, and the cool thing is your stats carry over. So let's say, for example, now that I've beaten the game, if you were to start playing, I could join your game but already be ridiculously overpowered. So I could then just come in, find a boss for you that you're struggling with, and just fucking punch them in the head, and they just disappear. They turn into glyphs.
It sounds actually. It's really neat. Was it only ever on Xbox? Did it get any
I believe
ports?
it was an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
I believe.
Oh, so you said there's Crackdown 3. Is that more recent consoles? That's
Xbox One.
Oh, so they're still making. That's good.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But, like I say, I wouldn't play Crackdown 3 until I played through Crackdown 1 and 2 again, or played through Crackdown 1 again and then play Crackdown 2. Yeah. I mean, I figured I might as well play Crackdown 1 so I could stream it, and I ended up beating it in a day. Not bad. It's quite short, way shorter than I remember it, but still just as fun. The idea that it's not clear-cut, straight line. You have, because I mean, they don't even tell you where the bosses are, where the enemies are. You have to go around the city to find their base of operations.
That's cool.
And then you go in and raid them, and the game will say, "Oh, I don't recommend you do that because they're really hardcore at this point, and you're just a scrub." I mean, even right up to the end of the game was telling me, "Oh, I don't like your chances for this one." I was like, "Oh, challenge accepted. Oh, I'm going in for that one."
Is it quite so? You mentioned like sort of like going in the back indoors, and so does it sort of lend itself to different play styles, or is it very? I mean, if you wanted to like be a more stealthy person, could you do it, or you could?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, you'd think that I would hardcore just run in and blow everything up, but in single player, that's not really a thing.
See you later, Pitbull. See you later, Jack. I missed your message saying you were going. So.
Oh bless. Well, thanks for coming to hang out.
Cheers.
Yeah, if you do run in and try and blow everyone up, even though the enemies are thick as 2 short planks and couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat, you will find yourself just getting steamrolled. If enemies do, like let's say for example the gang still has their arms dealer, you will get shot to shite fast. So what I ended up doing a lot of the time is just finding, because they'll mark where the end boss is, the controller of that section of the gang, they'll mark where they are on the map. And then literally I just find the fastest way through their compound, like maybe over, there's like one woman in the back of a quarry. So instead of, because I had quite a high agility stat, rather than going straight through the middle of it, down and through, I actually went around the quarry and over the back. So that I only had to deal with a handful of guards. Another bloke was in a shipyard. And rather than going in through the front of the shipyard, I just, again, went round the back. Some characters kind of find themselves holed up in actual buildings. Again, I went up to the building next door, went up as high as I could, and Incredible Hulk jumped over to the main building, went in halfway up, avoided most of the ground level security, went up and kicked the shit out of them.
Cool.
You could snipe away people. Because once you beat the kind of the sub boss guy, the gang leader, that's it. You don't have to take out the minions. You can literally just beeline it for the person who's in charge. Once you kill him, run the fuck away. The game even says if you find like an area is heavily fortified, find another way in. Find another way. Like there's one boss that's in charge of an oil rig, and it's like, well, you could go in through the front, where because there's like 2 areas connected by a big bridge, but it's heavily guarded, or use the water. It's surrounded by water. There's got to be a way you can get in. So I went round swam around the outside, and because again I had a high agility stat, I managed to just jump and catapult myself up through the rig, and really had very little trouble getting past the guards because they were weak as shit, and I could jump like 30 feet in the air. So even the end boss, I found myself just scaling his tower, just jumping through the outside of the tower rather than going in, because there was no real benefit to me going in, so I got shot to shite. It's yeah.
It does sound like a really cool game.
It's fun. It's just mindless fun. It's a little deeper than a lot of people give it credit for. It's a good laugh. Just if you've got a few hours you want to waste, it's one worth playing.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, on to film/TV.
Yes.
I went and saw a film. It was my birthday last week. We'll go see a film.
You're old now.
I am 33.
Happy old man day.
Yeah, so I went to see a film, and it was a bit of a surprise. I told you I was going to see it. You were a bit surprised.
Mm-hmm. I was really surprised.
Yeah,
actually.
I went and saw Detective Pikachu.
But you don't know anything about Pokemon.
I know nothing about Pokemans. I know Pikachu. This is all I knew about the. I know the vague plotline Pokemon. Professor X wants to bang the kid's mother, so he tells her to send the kid out to go hunt Pokemon.
Yep.
And basically, every time he comes back, say, "That's nice. Go on, keep going.
That's about right.
Your mother looks fun. Bye." And basically, the kid then goes and captures small, lovely animals, takes them out of their native environment, forces them to attack each other in a cruel, barbaric display of blood sports.
Yep.
At gyms for some reason, not combat arenas, a gym.
Yep.
As you do. So I know the basic plot. Obviously, I know Pikachu because that's what everybody should know. Anyone vague for Pokemon knows Pikachu. I'd heard of Bulbasaur, and Charizard. That's it. I'd heard of them, but I couldn't. If you show me some pictures, I couldn't pick one out for you. I was like, yeah, that looks vaguely like a
That looks like a Pokemon.
That thing breathes fired. Charring, sounds burny. I reckon that's the one.
Or it'll be like, I know exactly what that is. Oh yeah, you do. You know what they are. Yeah, mate, that's a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, oh motherfucker, which one? I don't know.
So
it's a Pokemon.
But the reason I wanted to go see it is it had Ryan Reynolds in it.
So what you were saying is you wanted to go and watch Deadpool Pokemon Edition?
Yeah, I did. It's like if it's like that sort of style, and it seemed to have similar style humour, I thought I'd go watch it. So
he did a lot of work to get into character, I imagine.
He did. I think he did.
I mean, the voice was completely different, and it didn't sound anything like him. It was nothing like anything he'd ever done before.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
It sounds exactly like him. He didn't do anything at all.
No, he has similar sort of wit. He's a bit nicer, but similar sort of wits and sort of thing. But yeah, we went to saw it. Me and my father and my mother. Mm-hmm. We decided to go see it because they wanted it again because it's got Ryan Reynolds in it. They like Deadpool as well. None of us know about Pokemon. Thought, let's go. I will admit, we were probably the oldest group there. We went on a Saturday afternoon, which is probably not the best time to go. And I just all I kept seeing was parents coming with their children. It's like, yeah, they're about 12.
Well, your parents went
they're
in with
13.
Their child.
I'm 33. I do feel slightly inconspicuous here. But, I had popcorn and Pepsi. What more could you want, really? So it's fine. But yeah, it follows. From what I've learned since, it's based on an actual game.
Yes.
For the Wii U or DS?
3DS, I think.
3DS. I vaguely know what it is. And it follows the plotline roughly. And it's about this guy called Tim, He's basically his father works at this big city, which I've completely forgot the name of. His father gets killed in an accident, so Tim has to go and sort of like put his affairs in order and so forth. Tim wants to be a Pokemon trainer when he was younger. He's a young adult now. It's probably sort of early 20s.
Sure.
He wanted to be a Pokemon trainer. He never did. And so he decides to go to this place. And this place, they don't do the combat stuff for Pokemon. It's just everybody's not officially. There's like underground rings. Everybody sort of lives in harmony with their Pokemon, which sounds a lot nicer way to do it. I would say, within 5 minutes of 10 minutes of watching this film, I knew who the bad guy was. As soon as it appeared on the screen, it's like, yep, you're the bad guy. As soon as he spoke, like, yeah, you're definitely the bad guy. Yeah, you're the bad guy. It's obvious. It's not, shall we say, a particularly highbrow plot line. This is.
I'd never have guessed that.
You're not going. This is not Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. This is. Don't get shocked by this. So he goes there.
Pikachu's an electric Pokemon.
That was accidental, but I'm going to take it anyway. So yeah, he goes to He goes to his father's apartment. On his way, he meets a reporter who's looking into his father's death. She suspected something a bit more suspicious than what everybody's saying. Nearly everybody has a Pokemon companion, so they have like their Pokemon partner. She has a Psyduck, which I don't know because that's what it says is Psyduck. Because it's pronounced a bit of an accent, a bit of a sort of like I thought I've called something called like Sladock.
Right.
I didn't know it was Psyduck until I sort of had to Google off. Oh, it's Psyduck. It's actually what it was saying. And yeah, they have to sort of like play elevator music and keep it calm because it might go ballistic and.
Oh, fair that.
Yeah, I've heard about Psyduck now. But he goes to the department, starts sorting out affairs, and while he's there, a Pikachu appears. But this is not only Pikachu because this Pikachu talks to him and he can understand it because no one can understand Pokemon normally. And he understands what this Pikachu is saying. No one else can, only him. And so they basically... And this Pikachu has come along because he's found in his like hat, he's wearing a little tattoo, the address of his father. So he guess I must know his father. But he's lost all his memories. A bit of amnesia.
As you do.
So they sort of team up and try and find out what happened to his father. Because Pikachu's not convinced that his father's dead. He thinks it's all a plot. And they basically move on from there, and as the story progresses, they uncover an evil plot involving genetic experiments on Pokemon. And there's a Pokemon which I did recognise, but I never knew the name of. And they have Mewtwo in it.
Right.
And he appears right at the start, so it's not a spoiler. He literally right at the start he appears. I recognise him. I know him. I couldn't tell you what he's called, but I know him. Because I think he's often. I've seen him on covers and so forth of games, so I'm sure.
Yeah, he's one of the main.
Yeah,
one of the main legendaries.
Yeah. But yeah, he's in it. So and yeah, as it's not. I feel that it was so without spoiling too much. It's Ryan Reynolds is slightly not used to his best ability. He hasn't got enough of his sort of sarcastic wit he's made the most use of. Has got some funny laugh moments. I told you one earlier, but I won't spoil for people because it is still a relatively recent release. I feel the two main actors in it, the boy and the girl, the sort of chap Tim, they're not brilliant if I'm honest. Neither of them are that great. They don't really sort of give the film sun. I say with Ryan Reynolds, they're sort of bouncing off that he sort of steals the show a little bit. But
which
not
is to be
enough,
expected,
which to be expected, but not enough to make it. It wasn't funny enough for something that's meant to be sort of like done a bit like quite light-hearted sort of comedy. It wasn't funny enough, if I'm honest. It's what I would put in the category of the Pacific Rim category of film. So it's a film that I'm quite happy to sit and watch. I don't need to think about too much about it. I may have had one or two whiskies, not need to think too much about it. I'm just here to have an enjoyable...
You're just there to be entertained,
yes,
not to...
Yes. Enjoyable romp for a couple of hours, or an hour and a half, and just have a bit of fun and not worry about it. I feel some reviews have been a bit harsh. I think it's averaging about 60% on some places. I think that's a bit harsh. I would say sort of like low to mid 70s, which is sort of.
I tend to think that a lot of people who critique these films, they're not really fans. They're not who the film is aimed at.
No.
So they go in there and they slam the shite out of it. And
it did a very good job. For someone who knew, I knew nothing about Pokemon realistically, as I knew a few basic bits. It did a very good job of explaining it. It did a very good job explaining what the idea of the train is. It did a very good job explaining it all if you didn't know.
Sure.
They've definitely sort of aimed this at, this is to get people. I think cynically it's been aimed to try and get people who wouldn't normally play Pokemon interested in the idea of Pokemon.
Or could it just be partly because there are going to be a lot of parents taking their children to see the film, and the parents are like, what the fuck is a Pokemon?
Yeah. Although you would think that a lot of parents now, the age of the children it's probably aimed at, a lot of the parents would have been young enough for when Pokemon first came out to
but then you assume that there's always going to be people who've never played a video game.
But it's very much been it's done very well to the point that I followed the plot.
Sure,
I didn't get confused. It confused my father. He said to me, "Where did the Pokemon come from?" I said, "It's an alternative world. They've just always been there."
Yeah,
I think it's just, they always have meant to have been there. It's just an alternative world. Oh, then my mother helpfully said Japan.
Yeah. Well, if you go to Japan, that's exactly what that's like. There are Pokemon everywhere, and maid cafes and girls with tails and cat ears. You know, it's normal.
It's exactly, exactly.
Giant robots. Look, Godzilla turns up every now and then. It's normal.
All I know about Japan is based on Steins Gate and Pokemon, the Pikachu, Detective Pikachu. That's all I know about Japan. That's it.
There you go. So time travel, terrorism.
Surprisingly, it's actually. I would say it's a lot of the. It's weird the city they go to because they've tried to not place it anywhere. Mm-hmm. It's maybe on some island somewhere. There's a real mishmash. So you've got the Shard in it, the Gherkins in it from London. There's a bit earlier on. There's a London bus and taxi, and they all drive on the left, which is interesting. I suppose in Japan they drive on the left as well.
I'm not sure, actually. Never thought about it.
I think Japan does drive on the left, I believe.
Don't know. Never thought of it.
But yeah, there's all. I know. So when they drive, they're on the left-hand side of the road. They just suddenly put up and like, and yeah, the car's all right-hand drive. Well, that's a bit interesting. But there's bits of that look like Tokyo, like sort of Blade Runner-esque.
Yeah.
So it's quite a mishmash of all lots of different ideas and so forth.
I'd like to interject on the American version. The car's the other way around.
Oh, is it? Apparently, I've just been informed that on the American version, they switched the cars round.
Oh, right.
That's interesting.
Well, isn't that the same kind of thing they did, though, with the Pixar... Was it Pixar film Cars? Over here, the voice of Lightning McQueen's agent is...
Jamie Clarkson, isn't it?
Whereas in America, it's someone else.
Yeah.
You know, so it fits more with the... Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way.
I think it's probably something like Jay Leno, isn't it? Because he's big into cars.
I ain't got a clue.
But yeah, it's I found it. I enjoyed it. It's never going to win an Oscar, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
So.
Good enough to numb yourself to and hang out with your kids, or just to go and have a laugh. Really.
Yeah, it's definitely it's funny enough. It's enjoyable enough. I mean, it's over. It's I always think my method of telling a film's good is if when it finishes, thinks, "Oh, that's it."
Yeah, you don't realise you've been there for a couple of hours.
Yeah,
you've just kind of been absorbed into the world. And
exactly. Yeah, and I was like, it's like, oh, it's finished. Oh, okay.
When you can go to a 2-hour or 3-hour film and think that you've only been there for 15 minutes, that's when that you've got a winner right there.
Yeah, that is, and that's what I thought. Yeah, so yeah, I think some of the critics have been a bit harsh on it. I mean, it has got its problems, mainly the acting, but and it's not. As the plot line, I figured out quite within sort of 10-15 minutes. I figured it out, but it's probably. I tell you what the problem is. Actually, the plot line's probably confusing enough for younger people, but it's not serious enough for older people. It's probably just slightly
it's on the line.
Yeah, slightly misaimed. I would say.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, as well, average child hasn't absorbed 2/3 of the tropes that we have, so we see it. We've already seen 2/3 of this stuff already. Of course, yeah,
so. That's very true. That is very true. We haven't. It's hard to judge a children's film, although it's a PG children's film with adult eyes. It's hard to judge it.
Well, it's like that's kind of like when we do computer stuff. To us, changing RAM and a power supply and things like that is really simple, really obvious. When we have a problem with our computers, we very quickly go, well, it's obviously that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we have to understand that not everyone is at our level.
Yeah.
And so you had to start somewhere.
Or as my sister would walk into my office with her laptop and she looks at me with a sort of slight sad face and goes, "Computer no worky," and hands me the laptop and like, "Oh, I'll fix it for you."
We go, here's
Let's
a
see.
typewriter.
What have you installed on it this time? Oh, you've gone for more of your free games you keep downloading and installing.
Oh dear.
Yeah. She just big fish games she keeps installing, which are like just she's got on there are like pixel hunting games. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like big screen to hunt around. Hidden object games. Sorry, not pixel. Hidden object games. So she's got on the hidden object games. I mean, they're all poorly acted and so forth, but she's got hundreds of them. She plays through. It's all. I don't know how you can play
Just
that many.
get her a couple of good visual novels.
Yeah, you've got some recommendations, haven't you?
Yeah. Steins Gate.
Yeah. Yeah, or that one you gave me, which I would play.
That was great.
Yeah, I was sat in the living room, and the family was there, just so, this Luke wants to play this style of game. Oh.
Oh, we didn't say anything about the art style.
Yeah, oh.
In fairness, it was the smallest thing I could send over MSN.
That would have been
AIM.
the MSN, yeah, stuff like. No, it wouldn't have been on AIM at that point, it would have been MSN.
I was still using AIM. Pretty much until it shut down.
Skype, maybe.
Could have been Skype.
Could have been Skype.
I hate Skype.
Yeah, I have got a Skype.
You still got Skype?
I've still got Skype because a few friends use Skype still in the evenings.
People use Skype?
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I can't believe TeamSpeak's still a thing.
Yeah, I've always thought Discord would have killed them all off by now. So,
What are we going to do when Hangouts goes away? That's going away, isn't it?
yeah.
There's a few other things going away that Google are doing, isn't there?
Yeah, they're having a bit of a purge. Well, I think Hangouts going to get replaced by something else. I think Hangouts, because we'll discuss this, won't we? That Hangouts, you've got a separate app for your messaging and for Hangouts. I think they're going to amalgamate the two together,
Sure.
which makes sense.
Well, so you think like maybe Google will have an iMessage style service? Like like you've got FaceTime and Messages are technically kind of the same app.
Yeah.
Are they the same app on iPhone?
Yes. Well, you can FaceTime from the. You've got a messaging app, but you can like FaceTime someone from the app if you wanted to. You can ring and they're linked together, so you can, I can ring this person.
Maybe Google are going to try and do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Surely they couldn't get rid of that kind of stuff because people need it for users of Chromebooks and stuff. You're taking away features from them.
They're also going to replace it with something. I can't think they'll be getting rid of all messaging features. They have to replace it with something. And I still think it's used somewhat. Still, we obviously use it as the communication method of choice for the RAN nerds. For the RAN nerds producers, it's a communication method of choice. He sends me the audio file and I forget to download it.
Yep. Or I completely forget to send it or edit it.
Yeah. So
it's hard to download a file from a link that I don't send you because I forgot to edit it.
It is. I'll have to hack his server.
Not my server. We need to set up a server, by the way.
We do, yeah. I like your website 'cause it is like say back to 1992.
Yeah.
It's like, oh look, he's got HTML code. And
I need to put a menu up. To be honest, it's made that.
You mean
way.
just a list of links? It's not good enough for you.
Well, it's just because I ended up putting on a return back to main page at the top of each page. People were QQing and they had to hit a back button.
Hit backspace.
Yeah, don't say that to people.
Or mouse free.
Don't say that. They'll freak out. People don't.
Backspace goes back.
They need everything to be pretty. And I was like, fuck that. I want it to be. Oh, let's put it this way. I wanted it to load up on spit. Like if you spat on your computer, I wanted my website to load up. Like that. There's like no bandwidth at all. Yeah. So what does it need to be pretty for? It's just got to tell you what the fuck's going on.
Functionality over prettiness.
What was that? What's that website? Motherfucking website, or this is a fucking website.com?
Yeah.
I love that site.
Yeah.
And literally all it is just different variants of like a basic HTML site. This site is fucking perfect. What more do you want?
Yeah. Yeah. All fun and games.
I just don't see the point in bloated websites these days. They annoy me.
No. I hate websites that you have to scroll and scroll and scroll to get information. It's like big massive picture. Okay. Scroll down. Another big picture. Small bit of text.
Yeah,
Scroll
stop
down.
breaking up the article with pictures and adverts and other things that aren't relative to the
I
topic.
mean, it's not even articles. These are just like, this is your, like, I mean, Apple started this trend, you know, big picture, paragraph, the new such as the new iCock, for example, is, you know, it syncs up with your mobile, lets you know how many times you're thrusting it. Scroll down. Made of revolutionary materials. Scroll down. Produced in a factory by robots. Scroll down. It's
Yeah.
like, can you just put this in a bullet point list at the top and just have a gallery?
Yeah.
Really don't need this. And it's, I just hate such things. You got to, if you, the amount of time you spend scrolling on a site really irritates me.
Modern web design is dog shit. Shamefully, I know a fair few people working in modern web design. Please stop it.
And it's the, I think it's got to bear in mind, it's trouble is it's design, but it's a bit like adverts on TV. Advertising agencies are all about how posh everything, that they half time you watch everything and have no idea what it's about. And
They've found a style they like, and everyone's going with it.
I've noticed there's a little bit of a resurgence of the more practical adverts though. Now sort of YouTube advertising thing, there's more adverts that are trying to compress in like 5 seconds. And they've gone back to the old days of just telling you this is a product, it's good.
Yep.
That's basically it. That's what an advert should be. I shouldn't have to sit there and afterwards guess, what's that for?
Yeah, I don't need shit tons of B-roll and crappy chill step music.
Yeah.
And
You need to. I want to scrub that outside a sec when I see an advert and say, right, you are director of an advert, not a feature film. Stop pretending you're Spielberg and trying to get that perfect shot of the bit of water running down a window for some reason.
Look at the lighting, the bokeh, it's like, lay off. You're trying to sell me something. Just fucking flat out tell me you're selling something, and maybe I'll look it up.
When your advertising film crew is like the size of the one that was on Lord of the Rings, you may have gone a bit overboard.
I don't need a shit ton of drippy hipsters in your advert. I don't. Look how well shaven they are, and look, they're all smiling. And just fuck that. Just what is the product?
Yeah.
What is the product? And how many? None of these people are real.
No.
But they all look fucking.
The obvious actor is saying, yes, I use X product every day. I couldn't do my job without it.
It's like,
Well, my other podcast I listen to, a couple of guys there, freelance writers and journalists, and they say, yeah, we see adverts for Grammarly, and all these people in there saying they can't, I'm a such and such, and I use Grammarly every day, and it's like, if I use Grammarly as a freelance journalist, and it gets it wrong all the time, I would just consider that bad writing. And he's right.
if you are a professional journalist, right? If you are a journalist or a writer, a professional. If words are your job, you should be pretty good at it.
You'd hope so.
I can remember Terry Pratchett actually had a rant about that before. And he's like, well, loads of people would ask him, like, well, how do you do this? And he's like, well, practice. He's like, well, don't you have someone else to do that kind of thing, like proofreading and checking and, what I said, no, you do that. That's your job. This is your work.
The only thing I would say to that is sometimes you'll proofreading your own stuff, you could be blind to your own errors.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's always best
But
to...
it's not a case of, like, you can sit there and face roll a keyboard and then you palm it off to someone else and they will fix all of the grammatical errors in your entire script.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
No. Well, my sister, she obviously has had books published and so forth, and yeah, you basically have to send in, has to be a certain quality before they even look at it if it's not good enough. And they employ proofreaders who proofread it once and then they send it back to you for you to
then
proofread it after they've edited
then,
it and so forth. Or if their proofreaders change something and you don't think it should be that way, you should be able to justify why it shouldn't be that way. I mean, it's a long old process actually, and what have you.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
But it's what you need to do, and I will say it's always best to get, if you're doing it like that, it's best to get someone else to do it.
But the idea is that, like, if you can't string together a basic sentence,
if you're having to use
without needing Grammarly,
I think this guy, exactly. I think this guy's point was, if you're using Grammarly or you're having to use, like, you rely on Microsoft Word's grammar editor to pick up your errors, you're probably not at a level
to
yet
be doing this job
where you should be a professional journalist. Or if, basically, say the people the actors who claim to be professional journalists on that thing clearly aren't, but they're not because they're actors.
Yeah.
So Yeah, he gets annoyed by that. That was quite fun listening to it. But yeah, that was so that's modern advertising. How we think we should fix it.
Yep. Get fucking rid of it.
Yeah, website does.
It's
I
the
told
same
you my
old-
experience a few years ago when I just out of curiosity I went on Lycos.com.
Right.
And it still exists.
That's the wee dog search engine.
Not anymore. It's gone now. It's not a search engine anymore.
Eh?
Well, at least when I went on it was. It was selling a smartwatch. Its own brand. Their Lycos smartwatch it was selling.
Oh.
This is about 4 years ago, so I don't know what it's doing these days. Actually, we have access to the internet. Let's see what Lycos does.
We have access to the internet.
Yeah. Let's see what Lycos is. But it actively trolled me.
Huh?
So I was looking at the smartwatch. I thought might as well, and it was like so you click on the smartwatch and these little like buttons sort of animate themselves in a circle around the smartwatch. So you click on them and it then shows the next bit. Then you animate. Oh, sorry, Skazz editing. Oh,
Right, say that again.
so you click on these little buttons will animate themselves around the item, and you click on them to do something, and as you do, and they reanimate themselves differently, but they animate themselves into a different order. So let's say button 5 is on the button 1
So
on
you
the
go
side.
back to click it again and it's changed.
Yeah. So like say for example, button 1 is information, button 2 is where to purchase. The first time it's laid out, button 1 it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you click on information. On that screen, it now goes 4, 3, 1, 2, 5.
I might do that to the menu on my website. Change it for depending on what page you go to,
It was bloody frustrating.
just to wind people up.
Oh, they've gone back to being a search engine. And there's a picture of a dude with a flag.
A dude with a flare.
Oh, the tomb of the unknown soldier. Hang on a second, what is this?
What is it? Is Jeep still a thing?
Is it some sort of like army day in America or something? Because it's all about the tomb of the unknown soldier and
What date is it?
remember our fallen heroes. They're the reason we are free. In memorial. Is something going on in America? Is like some sort of
I don't
you know.
Dude, I don't even know what the fuck's going on in
To
my
be
own
fair,
country half the time.
to be fair, whenever America seems to spend a lot of its time celebrating war.
Celebrating dead people.
Let's try searching for something. Let's search at Google, see what happens.
Oh.
My grandfather used to do that. He used to use Google. We didn't know how to get to Google. There were no results for your search query. Maybe you accidentally invented a new word. Okay, let's search a Bing. Oh, found Bing. Bing.
They trolled you for Google.
Oh, right. Let's search for Alta Vista.
Oh, Christ. That can't be a thing still, right?
Yeah. Oh, Alta Vista was. Oh, looks like Yahoo's took it over.
Yahoo still a thing?
Yeah, Yahoo search. Yeah, Yahoo. This is great. It's like going back to the internet in 1993, isn't it? Yahoo.
So not really a search engine, are they?
Yahoo.
They're an internet directory.
I'm amazed Yahoo still exists. I mean, they haven't really changed either. But I'm just amazed they still exist.
That's way different. That's not a directory. It used to be a
remember
directory.
this. No, Yahoo used to have all this on it as well.
No, this is very new Yahoo.
No.
This isn't like
No,
2001
no.
Yahoo.
Maybe not 2001, definitely early 2000s. So I remember I used to use Yahoo instead of Google for a long time. I remember all this.
Oh, fair that.
So yeah.
Because that's a very modern layout.
It's a bit more modern. This bit hasn't changed. All this up here is all small. I remember all that. But what?
Because it used to be like a white and yellowish page.
I'm trying Google again. Yeah, it does fun Google. I love it. Lycos blog Google.
Lycos is a troll.
Lycos. They still got the little dog. There's the little dog. Let's go see the little dog. Lycos weather. This is very weird. So they got rid of the search engine and started selling smartwatches, and now they've gone back to selling smartwatches. Apparently, it thinks I'm in Boston, Massachusetts.
Good job.
Good job. Daily Comics. That's what the Daily Comic is. This is very weird. That's rubbish. It's bizarre. What other ancient website can we think of?
Ask.
Ask.com.
Still exists.
Still exists.
But there's no butler.
No. What the fuck happened to Jeeves?
That'd be really funny if that turned out to be the first autocorrect result of the first recommended search. Where's Jeeves?
The long, sad story of arse.com.
Oh.
I would search AOL, but I know they still exist. Oh, I know what we need to look for. This, like, go back in time, was great. MSN Messenger.
That's definitely gone, isn't it?
It is. But look, I love that the prediction was download.
Speaking of things that have disappeared, so MSN Messenger, AOL Messenger, Google Hangouts is going. The Ouya.
Oh yeah,
They're shutting it down.
I thought it went ages ago.
No, it was bought by Razer, and Razer had their own little TV box. Razer, the gaming company, gaming peripheral company, makes mice, keyboards, and fluff like that. They bought it and incorporated it into, I think it was at Razer Forge or something like that. They're shutting it down on the 25th of June.
Oh,
So they're running the servers up until the 25th of June, so you can still actually actively
apparently
use
it's Memorial Day weekend. That explains it.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Can I just throw out there,
Sorry?
I still don't care.
Well, it's not when we're not American, are we?
I don't give a fuck about what's going on in my own country, let alone someone else's.
You know which country you're in, do you?
No.
There you
I
go.
don't even know who the fuck. Oh, wait, no, she resigned, didn't she? I learned that.
Yeah,
Someone
thankfully.
told me that and I fucking died. So I was like, hey, we fucked up so bad she quit.
Yeah. It does feel a bit like I'm taking my ball and leaving, doesn't it?
I got given a shit job, so I stuck to it for a while.
I chose to have the shit job, and I fucked it up.
No, in fairness, the bloke before I fucked it up just as bad.
He did the ultimate fuck up.
And then the bloke before that fucked up as well. And the bloke before that, wait, who was the bloke before? How long ago was Tony Blair in? He really fucked up. And then before that was...
John Major.
He fucked up. Before that was Maggie, wasn't it?
But before yeah, it might have been.
I don't think she's dead.
No, we've seen we've seen
You've
the
already
body.
heard my theory on that one.
Yeah, no.
So I don't think Theresa May has finally been released from Maggie Thatcher's grasp. Because she cried, apparently.
I think she's been possessed.
That's what I mean. Maggie's left because I mean, there's no way the Iron Lady could have cried, mate.
Yeah,
She was too evil for that.
Do you think she's a white? Sort of demorally possessing Tory leaders, making them do stupid things.
Well, yeah. If you go down to where she's supposedly buried, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's not there.
Well, no, they wouldn't dare because someone might deface it. Gotta put some salt on it.
Fucking evil woman. Everyone in our country is just. Everyone that runs our country. Who are we supposed to have running our country in future? We've obviously got a vote, but who are they? Have we decided who's supposed to be?
Well, I mean the new leader. I can't remember the name of half of them, but I know Boris has put his name forward.
Fucking hell.
Can you imagine the meeting between Boris Johnson and Donald Trump?
Boris, mate, you got my vote just for the comedy value.
It's like
This country's doomed.
modern democracy truly has fallen. Just a picture of Donald Trump and Boris Johnson next to each other.
Standing up like, hey!
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
The rest of you is going. The rest of you think, what are the English speaking world doing? The United States have got Trump, Britain's got Boris Johnson in charge. What are they doing?
This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I am so glad I couldn't give a fuck about this country.
Yeah.
Oh.
The thing is, I've seen Boris's father, KG Presents Have I Got News for You, and he's quite smart. He's actually...
Did he drop Boris?
He must have done. I think it's the hair. But we should put Charlie in charge, shouldn't we?
Have you shot anything yet?
No.
I'd like to upgrade my texture pack, please.
I'm sorry, I can't afford that DLC.
So for fuck's sake, well, get out of the way, mate.
I want to go see my real father.
Come here, mate.
Oh.
Hello, baby.
Right, on that note, thank you for joining us on a little trip down memory lane as you looked at the websites of the past. That is still going. Somehow. It's also when you occasionally come across somebody's website and it's clear that it's never been updated in the last 15 years, but they're still paying the fee, so it still exists.
I'm going to be doing that with mine for the next 50 years.
What was Yahoo? Was it? I think it was Yahoo, where you could have like a free website.
GeoCities.
GeoCities. Yeah, it was GeoCities.
Is that still out?
No, that closed down. I'm getting an email saying your account's been shut down. It's like, oh, good.
No, not GeoCities.
Yeah, if you want to back anything up, I don't want anything back anything up that. Back in the bad days of college when I had GeoCities, I hate to admit this, and I am going to get crucified.
He
for
was
this.
a criminal.
No, I chose Comic Sans as my font.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not pleased for you.
No, do you feel dirty now? Just being so, yeah. Can't get the Comic Sans off me. It's like Macbeth. I rub, but the Comic Sans is still there. Yeah.
I think we all need to simplify, to be fair. Go back to complaining about modern web design and that. Just please stop. It doesn't have to look super pretty all the time. Let's put it this way. A web page shouldn't be more than... What? Well, if it's more than a meg, you're doing it wrong. I'm throwing that out there. If it's more than a megabyte in size, it's fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And if I use more than 15 megabytes to load 3 pages, definitely wrong. Definitely wrong.
How are all those embedded adverts going to play?
I'm sad.
Right, on that note, I think it's time to end.
So I'm finding it difficult.
We've somehow managed to draw this podcast out. We basically finished it out about half an hour ago. We managed to somehow draw it out. So thank you all for watching. I'm TheSuffolkRam.
Skazz, yes.
And Mittelmeister.
And Low Res Gundog.
I might save up the texture pack for next time. What I'll do is I'll bring Sparrow along next time. We'll just hold her up.
This is really difficult to talk into a microphone with a spaniel on your lap.
Cheers, Annie. See you next time. So, very much on. See you later.
I can't turn off the podcast.
Well, then we're doomed, aren't we?
No.
Would you like me to turn the podcast off for you? This I've seen out of a film.